The idea that priests and nuns and people of faith shouldn't pay for other people's abortions. This question about how Kamala Harris has treated Catholic nominees picked by Donald Trump to be on the nation's highest court. Reince talked about the federal judiciary. What Kamala Harris did to people of faith, Christians and Catholic men who have the gall to join the Knights of Columbus, which is a fraternal organization for Catholic men to make sure they're good husbands and good fathers and they do charitable work. She called it basically a hate group. Any person that would stand up against a decent charitable organization like the Knights of Columbus should not be qualified to serve for national office. Joe Biden didn't just not fail to call out Kamala Harris. He's now picked her to be on his team. This anti-Catholic bigotry is disgraceful, and I think it's one of the reasons why Kamala Harris just is not likable to Republicans, to Democrats. I think the more we see of her, the more people aren't going to like her.
Well, that's a bit of what the Knights of Columbus says it's all about. But the Catholic social and charitable organization that was founded in 1882 is under fire from at least 2 Democratic senators. Mazie Hirono of Hawaii and Kamala Harris of California have been grilling an Omaha-based lawyer who's a nominee to sit on a district court in Nebraska about his membership in that Catholic charity group. Hirono says the Knights of Columbus have, quote, a number of extreme positions, asking nominee Brian Boucher if he could hear cases fairly or if he was intending to leave the organization if he actually got a seat confirmed on the bench. Boucher says his involvement with the Knights of Columbus consists mostly of charitable work and community events, and he's not backing down. So let's bring in the Reverend Gerald Murray, pastor of the Holy Family Catholic Church, for some analysis. Father, welcome. Great to have you with us.
Thank you, Shannon.
Okay, so listen, some of the concerns that these senators have, they say the Knights of Columbus has taken positions on abortion and marriage they say are extreme and out of the mainstream. They also say he's called himself pro-life. Is it fair to ask questions about whether or not he can be an objective judge?
No, I look at this as an attack on the Catholic Church because the Knights of Columbus as a Catholic organization promotes Catholic teaching about the matter of it's immoral to kill children and marriage consists of a man and a woman. Those are not extreme positions. Those are truths that were taught by law and culture for most of Western history until quite recently. It's not fair to say if you are a member of a Catholic organization, you're an extremist, because we don't have religious tests in the United States. We respect religion. You may not agree with someone's religion, but don't then say to him, it's illegitimate for you to uphold those positions that your teaching is extreme. No, Catholicism is not extreme. Their attacks are extreme.
Mm-hmm. Well, it's interesting because there are those who take this a step further and say it's not just about having a faith, it's about actually practicing it. And that's where some of these questions, and we've seen it with other nominees over the last year or two, have been really pushed on whether or not they actually adhere to the Bible or the tenets of their faith. Bill Donahue, you know well, president of the Catholic League for Religious and Civil Rights, says this in writing an op-ed. He said Senators Harris and Hirono are playing a game. They're engaged in selective religious profiling and sexism. Supreme Court Justice Sonia Sotomayor was not considered a problem with these senators, yet she is Catholic. But she's also reliably pro-abortion. End of story. Is it more about the issue?
It is. I think this is a replay of the Judge Kavanaugh debate that was had, which is basically to say abortion, as dictated by Roe v. Wade, is an unassailable position in American life, and anyone who criticizes it's an extremist. And the Catholic Church says no. Abortion involves the killing of unborn children, and decent people don't believe that that's right, and they should be able to advocate in a free society for laws to bring that into legal force in the country. It really is a shame that the motives of people such as this proposed judge in Nebraska are impugned because they're religious people. Religious people are called upon when there's a disaster, and the Knights do a lot of that disaster relief, and everybody's happy when they show up at the border, at a fire, at an explosion. But if they happen to say, well, by the way, we also believe what the church teaches about human life and marriage, well, suddenly they're called extremists and they're said, get out of here. That's wrong.
Mm-hmm. And to that point, I want to read something from the Leadership Conference on Civil and Human Rights, writing an open letter urging vote against this man, and says, based on his track record of partisan activism and deep-seated hostility to LGBTQ equality and reproductive freedom, Mr. Boucher would be incapable of serving as a fair and neutral arbiter. He should not be confirmed for a lifetime appointment to the federal judiciary. That sparks the question for me, too. If there are people people of other faiths outside of Catholicism, Protestant Christianity, evangelical Christians, would people of other faiths, do you think, get these same kinds of questions on Capitol Hill?
Well, I haven't heard that. You know, Muslim members of Congress who were recently elected, their religion teaches that marriage is only between a man and a woman, and they also don't endorse abortion. No one's saying, though, you know, the Muslim faith makes you incapable of serving as a legislator, let alone a judge. No, I think in this country the experience is that religious people who follow the Constitution and discharge their judicial functions are good, decent, and honorable. According to these senators, every practicing Catholic should quit the bench because they're extremists. That's wrong. If you want to defend abortion, make your arguments. Don't attack people who think abortion is wrong.
Well, and this judge has assured them that no matter what happens, if he is confirmed, he will adhere to precedent. He will not go rogue. He will do what is his duty as a judge and be impartial in all cases that come before him. Father Murray, thanks for joining us on this conversation tonight.
Thank you, Shannon.